direct to consumer, blockchain, appliances, DeFi, crypto. Is your mind exploding at that title yet? LinkedIn. Appreciate you sliding by. Let's dive into it. Welcome to the channel where we build financial power. My name is Matt, and the other gorgeous person on this side of the screen over here.
Thank
Her
you
name
very
is
much. Potter.
There it is. LinkedIn, thanks for having us. We do this on YouTube and Twitch every Thursday, Friday, typically 10 Eastern, but we're feeling squirrely. We wanted to shift some things around, and we want to talk about this financial power aspect. And we've been doing this for a little while now, and diving into the concept of direct-to-consumer and blockchain has me extremely fired up. Potter, I know as well. Before we dive all the way into it, Potter, how you feeling about the show? First time on LinkedIn, the whole nine?
Well, we're doing it about 8 hours late, so
Yep.
But it's cool. And just as a reminder, we are not giving any financial advice. This is for entertainment. This is something that we're doing as we're chronicling our journey.
There you go.
None of this should serve as financial advice. As we tell people, stay out of crypto because it's too dangerous at the moment.
Yes. Extremely.
So other than that, okay.
I like it. I like the disclaimer. It's like a legality / being dead serious. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Potter's the technical analysis person. She's on her journey. I'm more the common person, and I'm trying to learn this world. So it's been really, really interesting. But a few weeks back, Potter sort of slapped me with knowledge of this, of what she sees. And I know she's not alone. That's just it. That's what's even more trippy. It would be one thing if you had this incredible idea that was just in Potter's brain, but this is something that is going to happen. It makes me think of like the Minority Report and how advanced things were in that movie. Like they're using, clear screens and going like this and whatnot, but it really does feel like this is the direction it's heading. And when you put this in my brain, that's when it really unlocked a lot. And maybe starting with, do you want to start with what we were talking about with the refrigerator, just to get them on track?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So a few weeks ago, we were talking, and Potter brought up the concept of how a smart refrigerator, and I'm pointing at my own right now, or a smart dishwasher. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then she started telling me about the data aspect around it, hey, you've got 12 eggs in your fridge. And I'm like, okay, great. Who cares? But then she started laying it out on what that means from a data standpoint. So what would it mean if that person didn't have to go to the store to always make sure they have 12 eggs? Because I know for myself, like going to the grocery store and just knowing what's in the fridge and just being able to collect all the data before the dishwasher breaks. Like,
right. And that included saying, there's 11 eggs. Okay. What's the average number of eggs in there? What is generally the brand? What is the weight of those? How long does how does that weight get supported over years, and how long before we have to replace those? Is that the exact height that we thought it would be? All of this data can be recorded, and it can be kept secure on a blockchain, and the integrity can be held in place.
Yep. Yeah. And again, just to reiterate, when you think about what that means for a family, the average consumer, a business, I understand what you're saying and the value that is there. Face value, I was like, what's the point? Who cares? But it makes a lot of sense. So when you start talking about integrating blockchain into everyday items that everyone uses, like the extension of them, which is their cell phone, how we're basically cyborgs because of our cell phone, it's gonna be that normal. So I get what you're saying. How about I stop running my mouth now that we've done that bit of an intro and let you do your thing?
That's cool. No, I think it was a great intro.
Cool.
So when we talk about, what is direct to consumer, then and now, direct to consumer was like a milkman, you know, and there's a lot of jokes about the milkman.
Mhm.
Might be close to homes. And no, I'm joking. That was direct to consumer. And then the phone became to consumer. Then, the mobile devices became direct to consumer.
Mhm.
And I think you see the next evolution in the blockchain space. So that's just more of the, then and now. But what you
Okay.
never saw then was direct to consumer. I want to sell my car. No, we couldn't really do that back then. There was all
True.
these regulations. I want to buy a house. Uh, you got to go to a realty office, and you
Mhm.
got to go to the closing, and you got to
Mhm.
go to the bank, and you got to, probably make several trips to the bank,
It's true.
to give it to the underwriter.
Yeah.
But it'll go through.
Yeah.
And, we kind of, with Rocket Mortgage and all of that stuff, that kind of moved to the internet. But I bought enough houses. I never was able to just do it online.
Mhm.
Right. But now, with the blockchain technology coming out with
Yeah.
NFTs, and stuff like that, you're starting to see stuff online. Do you know what I'm talking about there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I've specifically heard about this with smart contracts and how it's so seamless. It's so seamless and it seems incredible.
Right. And it's not just blockchain. Blockchain is going to help it so that it can be validated and, locked
Okay.
in.
Okay.
But these deals are passing on Instagram. I saw a special that they don't even go to the realtor anymore. They just take pictures of the house and put them on Instagram and sell the houses. Now, yes, when you can tie that to a smart contract,
Right.
wow. Imagine what happens when lawyers get a hold of that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
realty offices that employ lawyers, and they start to understand the smart contract and what can work. And then
Right.
how you can hand that off to even the banking units. You can use
Mhm.
different APIs, which are interfaces of different programs that your program can talk to. So,
Mhm.
for example, you can get local data, you can get open source data, or you
Mhm.
can subscribe to data such as a bank, a
Interesting.
stock market, that kind of thing. Did that make sense?
It does. Well, to extend an olive branch to anybody out there that's listening, and you're like, this is way far away. This is not reality. This isn't going to happen. This is way far. Think about this. Taxis at one point you had to call on a payphone, and now you click an app and a car shows up to your wherever you're at. You click an app and do that. So if you're having trouble with the progression of technology, I'll ask you to take a look around at what has changed and what is just now your new normal. How do we have wireless headphones? How do we charge our cell phone without even plugging it in? Technology is moving rapidly, and these types of things, they're definitely happening.
Right, I agree. And when it comes to the direct to consumer, it's happening in an even broader way. Like we talked about home purchases, but what about the thing that everybody does, music? And what about music evolving from just an NFT that an artist put out,
Right.
whether that's an image or a song? But
Mhm.
what happens when it comes to collecting royalties, whether that's performance royalties or just sync licensing, which is taking audio and matching it with video, sync license, and having that go out. I worked at a publishing company. I was associate director,
Hmm.
and we had to go through so many phone calls and legalese just to get the artists, because sometimes there's multiple artists or
Mhm.
multiple writers on a song.
Sure.
You have to coordinate all of those guys and get their approvals.
Yeah.
But with blockchain, and one of the things that you're worried about is the integrity of that transaction. So blockchain provides
Sure.
that solid transaction. And then lastly, you just have blockchain tech that is just an integrity based solution.
Mhm.
And at the same time, it allows transparency for all parties.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Yeah. And that kind of takes us, by the way, I don't have air conditioner, so I might start sweating.
No, you're good.
The blockchain tech, we just talked about transparency, and there's privacy too. It's kind of funny because you can have privacy, but you have more transparency. So I think the privacy end is going to be personal versus business transactions and things that are taxable events, you know? So I think that's going to evolve. And then as we move to the wonderful negatives, like you just said, the adoption's not there, right? There's just nobody doing it. No one understands it. The criminal element is usurping, the good guys and trying to, spread the word.
Yep.
As well as the technical capabilities. 5G isn't completely implemented everywhere yet. The security functions on phones and computers aren't there and aligned specifically for protecting blockchain, since people are going to have their bank, on their devices. And so that's the security. And then we have the positives. Get rid of the fees associated with middlemen. And all of those scenarios that we just talked about, there's always a middleman. There's an underwriter, there's a lawyer, there's a salesman. But what if I just want to go direct to consumer? I just want to go straight to the person I want to sell to. Well, you get rid of that middleman. A lot of the middleman has to be there, right? And one of the most important middlemen is paying your taxes for government. You have faster transactions. You don't have to sit in a car showroom, for 8 hours. You don't have to wait in a bank. You don't have to even wait at a mortgage company. You could be at a theme park.
That's so true.
And lastly, that integrity-based component allows something that we talked about in our last show with insurance. It allows the insurers to focus a little bit more on, they can't cheat us, so we can bring the rates down. And if they don't bring their rates down, that allows competition to come up to say, hey, I can get some venture capital together to start my own insurance. The risk isn't there, so we'll probably be paying out less than the traditional insurance company. So it allows for a level of disruption.
Interesting.
And that is it.
Well, let me expound on one thing. So you were talking about speed, and there's another thing that I didn't really understand the beauty of speed until Potter and I tied up. We started the show, and I really started understanding crypto. I got into it around 2017, but it wasn't until last year at the beginning of December that I really got into degen in this world, DeFi. And but something I now respect is speed. So whenever I was first getting in, I took Bitcoin and turned it into BNB. And that process was only like 30, 45 minutes. But in my head, I was like, what's taking so long? This is taking so long, and now that I'm using other platforms and they're just lightning fast, I wouldn't put up with anything else. So when you move the bar of an expectation of a better service, it's impossible to go back. I mean, it is impossible. And you rang a bell when you said buying a car, because I've done it once. And it's an all day thing. I mean, if you're lucky, you're out of there in 5 hours. So the concept of okay, I just bought the car and then it's going to be here, and when it's going to be here whenever. That concept of speed, because of the blockchain, because of the technology, because of all the things that you just covered, it's truly incredible. And again, what you have taught me is the speed of it ultimately is, I don't even want to say saving money. I don't think saving money is even respectable enough to it, that it is breaking new ground for entire new financial industries. That's how much it's doing with the speed. So
and it's something that, during a downturn like this bear market, it's not something that's going to add complexity, to an environment of direct to consumer, which seems to be proliferating. It makes it even, boy, I really want to go direct. I want to get the transaction done. I don't want to waste gas. I don't want to get the kids in the car. I don't want to, I just want to get that transaction done. And we're talking about blockchain technology, so you have to kind of bring in the thing that we're in, which is DeFi. Right? The level of venture capital that can come in and be collected, and information can be shared. in a transparent way that you
Yeah.
know your sources are authoritative. So I can literally in this realm, I can advertise a wallet that belongs to an investor that says, yeah, you can use my wallet. And
Hmm.
then if I can say, hey, look who we have. We're not just saying that we have that person signed. Take a look. That person's wallet belongs to that rich person. Well,
Interesting.
now I've got something that I can, you know, just show people a wallet, and that's instant advertising. Whereas in today's time,
Hmm.
maybe I've got to get a commercial, maybe I've got to schedule some local television, maybe I need to get on
Wow.
CNBC or Bloomberg,
Interesting.
right? I can go straight to consumer, I can go straight to investor,
Hmm.
right? And it doesn't make any government shaky because they can see the transaction happening. You know, they know what you're doing. And
Transparency.
it still allows for that decentralized component.
Hmm.
When I'm on LinkedIn, I tell you guys when I post stuff, whether it's a 101 or 201 class, this is definitely 301/401. You know?
Well, and to I'm sort of stuck on the speed. I apologize, but you sparked a thought, and I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you think that speed, and I'll just make it real simple. Do you think that the speed of a transaction installs confidence in someone versus a slow transaction?
Yes. Like take a look at us when we were doing the, Ren Bridge.
Oh my gosh.
But I think once we goofed around on Polygon and it was like, wow, this transaction's taking time. And then I
Yeah.
showed you on Phantom and you're like, wow, it's done already.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it does. But
Mhm.
I remember when I first started, I did an Ethereum transaction, my first one.
Mhm.
I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This is gone. This has taken so long.
Right.
Scott was just like, calm yourself. I'm like,
Yep.
I don't know, dude. I really think,
Yep.
it's me. Things go
Yep.
wrong.
Yep.
And then it went through, and I was like, God, that just takes so long.
Yep.
So the ability to accept it for me, the threshold went down really quick. So I
Sure.
think speed is highly important.
Yep.
And that's why I was saying the 5G networks aren't there yet
Okay.
to manage all of
Okay.
this data. Like, think
Interesting.
about when you and
Hmm.
I, if we do a video doing high traffic when everybody's home,
Yeah.
So you need a 5G network to carry that
Yep.
much data.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Because it's going to be always on,
Hmm. Yeah.
you know?
Well, and like when you think, like I'm coming down to the micro level of just the transactions faster, because you're 100% right. I took that Bitcoin, put it into BNB, and it took like 30-45 minutes, and I trusted you, but I was like, oh gosh, that's terrible. Like, oh, what happens if it doesn't? And so to a new user of it, and then just to someone that's just sort of glancing at it, like, that transaction took 45 minutes. I'm definitely not getting in, versus he clicked the button and like 6 seconds later, it was completely done.
Right.
Just face value. It's like one looks like it works and one is really questionable. And what that would extrapolate to be, I think, could be so much more. So speed is just, yeah, you hit the nail
Right.
on the head with speed.
We'll take a look at the refrigerator example, right? Do I
Mhm.
want to go, I'm in my bathrobe, I go to the refrigerator, oh man, I have eggs, I want to order eggs, close the refrigerator,
Mhm.
order eggs. Do I want to wait for the transaction? Or
Exactly.
do I want to see ordered,
Mhm.
and know
Yep.
that it's ordered, maybe get an alert on my phone that it's
Yep.
ordered or on my bathrobe collar.
Mhm. Well, on your bathroom. Well, and it's interesting you say that. So you look at Amazon, and they do things, which they're not the only one to do it, but I mean, they're a gigantic marketplace, and they do subscribe and save. So there's not even a question of,
They do
it's just
what?
subscribe and save. So
Oh, yep.
it's showing up. That's it. Payments taken out, showing up, and just that level of efficiency people will pay for. And then
Right. But going back to going back to your speed, they still want to see it quickly. Like, even if
absolutely,
that was
for sure,
subscribe and save,
for sure,
you would still want to see it. Let's
confirmation.
say that you said, I wanted to order eggs and it made a mistake.
Yeah,
It says, oh, you want to order from Whole Foods? And you're like, no, I ordered from Publix.
yeah,
You don't want to go cycle through,
yeah.
Publix. You want it to know
Mhm.
quickly. To do that quickly, it's got to go somewhere and get information quickly.
Yeah,
You want it to
precisely.
say, okay, I know that you shopped at Whole Foods and Publix. I thought that
Mhm.
was Whole. You want it to have that information, get it
Yeah.
quickly, find out how much is available in the store. how quickly an Uber driver is close to deliver it if that's where you want to go. What traffic looks like if you want to walk. What the weather will be.
Yeah.
The average price today versus tomorrow, the AI will decide, hey, you have enough to make it for a few days. The price might be 20 cents cheaper if you wait until Friday.
Yep.
Based on this deal using this coupon.
Yep. And it's, that's not a new concept that we want to save time or we want things to be faster. It's just, I mean, you think about it even 20 years ago, the concept, 40 years ago, good Lord, of like, if the pizza's not there in 30 minutes, it's free. Like that speed has always been wanted. But now that we see technology moving so quickly, it makes things so much more efficient and people can make a whole lot more money when they have a whole lot more time. So you got anything in closing on this bad boy?
Nope. It's kind of fun going to LinkedIn tonight. It's kind of a long video. I usually only do them like maybe 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they're probably in shell shock right now. Yeah.
Well, they're usually consultants, so I doubt any of them are around anywhere.
Well, they'll see it in playback. If you're watching this in playback, we appreciate you sliding by here with us every Tuesday. What is wrong with me? Every Thursday, Friday, 10 Eastern, we are on the YouTube and the Twitch over there doing this. We truly, truly enjoy it, and we appreciate you watching. If you're feeling squirrely, slide on by. Other than that, builders, keep building.
Game on.